Hello, everybody. I'm really pleased to be here with you today to this online event. This is the final event of our Innocoach project, and I will share with you the agenda of the next 1 hour and a half. So, as a first welcoming speech, we will have the Secretary General of our lead partner in this project, Dr. Armagan Vurdu. And then he will give the floor to Banu Altin, our project coordinator, for an introduction on the aims and purposes of our project. Next, we are going to have national NCPs with us to give us an overview on EIC Accelerator, that is like the main object of our project, and also statistics about these first months of project proposals and projects approved. Finally, we will have also an overview of the Greek and Italian participation. Yeah, I see the other speakers are joining me for a first hello to everybody. And we will finally go to the core of our project. So what we developed, what are the tools that we developed. Actually, I would be really pleased. We would all really like you to comment. You have a comment feature on YouTube, so you can comment whenever you want. It will be, let's say, an hour full of insights and new thoughts may come to your mind. So please share with us your comments and questions, and we will make sure that all the panels can answer to your questions. So I would now give the floor to Dr. Armagan Vurdu for our first welcoming speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Dear project partners, dear NCPs and distinguished guests, I'm very pleased to welcome you to the closure event of the Innocoach project on behalf of the Istanbul Mineral and Metals Exporters Association. As you may know, IMEP is one of the leading business support organizations in Turkey, and most of its members are SMEs. And IMEP has been organizing many different activities and implementing different projects to promote members' business and also their competitiveness across the world. With this Innocoach project, IMEP and the project partners, KEPA and CommonX, aim to understand the need of SMEs to find new funding mechanisms and applying procedures for the EIC program, as well as the need of innovation agencies. I welcome the presence here at the Innocoach final event of so many representatives of innovation agencies and SMEs. It's a sign of the vitality and popular roots of EIC Accelerator program and the need for different supporting services for SMEs. The project provided us a valuable experience with different chambers of commerce, associations, innovation hubs, and national contact points from Italy, Greece, and Turkey. We managed to come together and share our best practices. We are very proud to cooperate with experienced and very hard-working partners within the project time. I would like to thank KEPA and CommonX for their greatest efforts and contributions to the project. We managed to have collaborative working and developed new Innocoach methodology for EIC Accelerated program. It's our pleasure to share this methodology with you. As a consortium, we prepared a design option paper, which is a document including many details about the project, methodology, and best practices in partner countries. I believe you would like to know more about the details of the project and the valuable information given by national contact points from each partner country. And I would like to thank you for your participation and wish you a very fruitful event. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now my colleague, Banu Alti, our project coordinator, will give an overview on the Innocoach project. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Secretary General. Thank you, Elisabetta. Dear guests, dear innovation agencies, and dear participants, I would like to welcome you on behalf of Innocoach project and IMMIP as project coordinator. I will just provide you a general information about the project. Innocoach is a project funded under Horizon 2020 program, Peer Learning of Innovation Agency call. We are three partners from Turkey, IMMIP, KEPA from Greece, and Comonex from Italy. We came together to develop new coaching services for innovation agencies to promote their SMEs to apply more for EIC Accelerator program. We basically targeted two groups actually. The first one, SMEs, and the other one is Innovation Agency. When we say Innovation Agency, we mean Europe Enterprise Networks, Chamber of Commerce, and business organizations who would like to provide some services to SMEs for EIC Accelerator program. And also we targeted SMEs who would like to apply for the EIC Accelerator program. So we mainly have two objectives, actually. The first one is to create a synergy among innovation agencies within the context of EIC Accelerator program. And we also want to develop the new coaching mechanism, new coaching services to promote our SMEs and EIC Accelerator program. So to reach those goals, we followed three main steps, actually. First, we start with the understanding of our target groups. What does SME know, and what does SME want to improve in this program, and what kind of tools innovation agencies have? So what are the challenges for both sides? We have provided some surveys and interviews to them, and afterwards we collected the data. We come together with peer learning activities. With three partners, we came together and we analyzed the data. We tried to understand the common challenges and common needs, and then we tried to develop some tools and mechanisms based on those methodologies. And also, afterwards, we made a pilot workshop. The aim of the workshop is to test the methodologies and the tools that we have developed. We invited SMEs and also innovation agencies to the workshop. We explained them what we had so far, and afterwards we get their feedbacks on the tools and the methodology that we described them. And regarding their feedbacks and their comments, we reviewed our methodology and tools, and we finalized them. While we are running the project, we basically follow the twinning methodology, actually, because twinning methodology is not only gives you an opportunity to transfer best practices, but it also provides you an opportunity to design and implement the better practices. So we we applied this methodology by peer learning visits, peer learning activities. By the way, all the activities and the projects were online because of the pandemic. We use many different digital tools while we are talking, while we are making brainstorming, and etc. These are from our peer learning activities. We had two peer learning activities. The first one was organized by IMMIP to understand the needs of to analyze the needs and the common challenge of innovation agencies and SMEs. We come together to analyze them. And afterwards, the second one was organized by Comonex. We come together again and we talk about the data that we have analyzed, and we try to develop tools regarding to them. I know you are very excited to know those tools and methodologies. So let's start with the know more about EIC Accelerator program, and then we will proceed. So this is all for my session. I would like to thank you all, and I wish you a great event. I would like to pass the floor to Turkish National Contact Point, Mrs. Merve Diyarkaya. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Banu. And yeah, Merve Diyar is going to be on screen very soon. for an introduction to the EIC Accelerator. Thank you.
Hello, thank you. Firstly, thank you very much. Firstly, I would like to congratulate coordinator of InnoSub project, IMIP, and also partners of the project, KEPA and Comonext. Innocoach is valuable not just for the Turkish innovation, but for whole European innovation ecosystem, as it aims to increase the competitive power of companies by improving their project writing capacities in Horizon Europe. This project targets the European Commission's objective, which is to tackle the innovation gap between innovation leaders and strong innovators, which moderates countries like Italy and Greece and emerging innovators like Turkey across the EU. So as the Innocoach aims to increase the quality of proposals, especially for accelerator program, I would like to summarize main aspects of the EIC Accelerator with a short presentation. I am Merve Diyarkaya. I work in TÜBİTAK for Horizon Europe Program, European Innovation Council. I am national contact point for European Innovation Council and European Innovation Ecosystems, which is a cluster of InnoSub program. So let's brief accelerator program. I would like to a little mention about framework program. As you may know, it's a funding program of EU which mainly focuses R&D and innovation. First framework program started in 1984, and now we are at the beginning of ninth framework program called Horizon Europe, as you all may know. Turkey has involved framework programs in 2004, and since that day, framework programs have been coordinated by National Coordination Office in TÜBİTAK. You can see main framework of Horizon Europe here. There are three main pillars in the program. Accelerator is located under European Innovation Council within Innovative Europe pillar. As EIC NCP, I am also responsible for European innovation ecosystems, as I mentioned before. And European innovation ecosystems also aims to strengthen power and connection of innovation ecosystems across EU. Now, let us take a brief look to EIC, European Innovation Council. You can see in here structure of EIC. There are three major programs: Pathfinder, Transition, and Accelerator. And for all three programs, we have open calls and also challenges. There are also EIC prizes and EIC business acceleration services within the EIC. So in Accelerator, what is EIC looking for? Firstly, startups and SMEs seeking to scale up a high-impact innovation with the potential to create new markets or disrupt existing ones. Secondly, innovations building on scientific discovery or technological breakthrough, mainly deep tech. And lastly, innovations where significant funding is needed over a long time frame and are too risky to find any financial needs. You can see main components of EIC Accelerator program. If startups or SMEs have innovation in the TRL 5 to 6, you can apply to EIC Accelerator to carry on your innovation to TRL 9 and also to markets. So we have, as I mentioned before, open call and also accelerator challenges. In every year, Commission have priority on different subjects. in this year's challenges are not officially announced yet. When EIC work program for this year will be announced soon, we all know the official challenge calls within the EIC Accelerator. So SMEs, small mid-cap companies and entrepreneurs can apply for EIC Accelerator program. Project budget will be €2.5 million for grant components, and you can also demand for investment up to €50 million. Project duration can be 2 years, and we have two stage for proposal submission. Firstly, you should apply for short proposal. You can apply for any time via this link. This link is mainly designed for EIC Accelerator. This is a artificial intelligence platform. So you should apply in the short proposal stage a 5-page form where you must summarize your proposal and respond to a set of questions on your innovation, your potential market, and your team. A pitch deck of up to 10 slides in PDF formats, and also a video pitch up to 3 minutes where the core members of your team should provide the motivation for your proposal. After you successfully pass the first stage, you can apply for full proposals, preferably at the cutoff dates. This year's cutoff dates will be announced soon. In this stage, you must prepare your full proposal on the EIC AI-based platform, which is this link, which includes methodology to help you to develop your detailed business plan and a number of automatic checks and feedbacks to guide you through the process. The full proposal also, I cannot see my slides right now, but consists of full business plans and also some questions related to your innovation. There are not just one funding option for EIC Accelerator, but you can see many options. If you need support for development and also deployment and scale up of your innovation, you can apply for grants and investment components. If you can prove that you have sufficient financial means for deployment and scale up, you can apply for grants only option. If your innovation still requires significant work to validate and demonstrate in relevant environments to assess its commercial potential, you can apply grant first. And lastly, if you are looking to fill the funding gap for rapid scale up to your high-risk innovation, and you don't need any grants, you can apply for investments only. After you successfully pass short and full proposal process, you may be invited to interview phase. In this stage, you shall present your proposal in front of jury members. If you succeed, grant agreements preparation begin, and in case you apply for investments, due diligence process take place. In order to encourage participation of Turkish stakeholders to EU framework programs and also Horizon Europe, TÜBİTAK provides some support and awards. These supports and awards programs designed for SMEs for EIC Accelerator, but also researchers and institutions to all Horizon Europe calls. You can see our programs: Coordinator Support Program, Travel Support Program, Travel Support for Research Living Abroad, and support for the membership to the networks. We have also two supports for Mercury calls and ERC calls. You can find all detailed information via our web page, which is ufukavrupa.org.tr. Our web page is very well designed and comprehensive website. You can also find all announcements and news about Horizon Europe and events that we organize or Commission would organize. So I strongly recommend you to subscribe our website and our newsletter. Thank you for listening me, and I congratulate once again to all stakeholders and our partners and coordinators of Innocoach project. This is really great that you organize and accomplish these projects in this challenging times due to COVID, due to pandemic, and I would. I hope that the event, closing event, will be very fruitful for all of us. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Merve. Yeah, for us, it's been a big change for innovation agencies and the support we give to companies since with the Horizon Europe framework program. This instrument changed a lot. That's why we asked national contact points to be with us today, to give an idea also on the participation and the statistics on of the first months of implementation of the EIC Accelerator. So I would just call here on screen Steven Frigerio, the Italian National Contact Point. Hello, Steven.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes,
Perfect.
we hear you well.
Perfect.
And yeah, I'll just give you the floor. Thanks.
Thanks so much. Thank you very much. My name is Steven Frigerio. I am National Contact Point for the European Innovation Council here in Italy. I work within APRE, which is the Agency for the Promotion of Research in Europe. I'm very glad to meet with all of you here today. And of course, I'm very glad to, first of all, present a number of key figures with regards to how the accelerator has proceeded from the initial start and launch. And I thank my colleagues before my presentation for having already introduced key concepts related to the EIC Accelerator. As you may know, this instrument is very popular, but also very competitive with regards to participation. And we will see also with regards to the results of the accelerator, how countries have fared between each other and the different participating states. And of course, the key strategic and structural issues that are being approached by the European Innovation Council, and how we can improve participation as well in the long run. And that would feed in perfectly with regards to then my second presentation, which will also provide a platform to any interested SMEs to participate through a network project that we are participating in with regards to the EIC Accelerator, as well as the EIC program, which is the Access to EIC project. So I will start today with the presentation of all the results so far since the initial launch of EIC Accelerator since last year. Of course, as you may all know, the Accelerator started with the pilot back in 2019. And of course, this was with the introduction of the equity instrument. So quite an interesting, basically, evolution of the accelerator program and the financial instruments. And this has somewhat, of course, impacted quite a lot in terms of the results. We can see now how things have really proceeded. Of course, now we're entering the new work program from 2022, which will soon be launched, and we will be soon having some different cutoffs. So basically last year we had a number of cutoffs. So we had specifically, we had a cutoff from April to November. And obviously with regards to how the structure of the IC obviously changed since last year with regards to the different proposals. So we had the short proposal, and we also had the full proposal. So before it was just one-shot submission, and of course this has changed now with the introduction of the short proposal. So basically, what we've seen so far is we've had quite a lot of applications, since obviously. And so basically, as you'll know, the short proposal is basically a continuous mechanism for applicants to submit to. So at any point in time, you may submit your proposal, a short proposal for pre-evaluation, and then you would be invited then to submit your proposal for the second round, which would be the full proposal, before then eventually being selected for the interviews. So we see, obviously, when we started, which was back in April 2021, when we first launched, we had quite the fact that we didn't have any cutoff in January of 2021. We were still basically initially trying to launch Horizon Europe due to, of course, political, let's say, negotiations at a political level. So from April 2021, we had obviously quite a number of applications, and I think over time this has basically stabilized over time, and we have quite a number of applications that are being basically submitted. We can see this also from the short, the go and no go. So we had quite a good, an interesting statistic here when we had the number of applicants really here really submitting, and obviously the go is in the beginning there was quite a good participation and a good, let's say, cutoff with regards to that. Again, this equaled out a bit over time between the go and no go. So between the short proposals and then the submission to the full proposal. So overall, I think the level is quite high. Usually 1 and 2 on average get into the second stage of the proposal writing. So it's quite an interesting way of basically filtering out all of the proposals, and you can see that over time this has significantly changed. Here we have a bit of an overall view of the number with regards to the full applications. So with regards to the full applications, we have a number of countries that have really participated and have really performed very well with regards to the amount of proposals being then evaluated for the full. This is just the statistics with regards to the open, because as you may know and may appreciate, the EIC has both the open, which is a bottom-up and open to all kind of innovations, and we also have the EIC Accelerator Challenges, which is basically specifically targeting a number of thematic areas. So you can see here, basically, Israel is quite high in terms of the number of evaluated proposals, and then you can see going down accordingly. You have Spain, France, Germany. You have Italy as there as well. Obviously, when it comes to the widening countries, the participation is not as strong, and this is an issue that is very much noted and notified by the European Commission. And in fact, there are a number of mechanisms that are being done underway that are trying to essentially manage this and trying to develop a mechanism which is as balanced as possible. So unfortunately, as you can see from there, and this statistic, as we will see in the next couple of slides, this continues, unfortunately, with regards to even the successful proposals as well. And so basically, the turning point here is really related to the smaller and widening countries being those countries that are considered to have the level of research and innovation and in terms of capacity, in terms of research capability, lower than, let's say, other countries, and hence the name widening countries. Here, apologies for the screen, but here we have basically the number of those retained, and therefore those that then have passed on to the next round. Well, we have quite a number of applications, and so here it's quite interesting to see the ratio really between the number let's say the number of let's say applications that go through the full stage and then get invited into the interview stage. So this is an interesting statistic to show that basically there are still countries that, even though they have a high number of participation, well, we'd say, as we saw before, which had about 74 over the period of time that were retained, that are evaluated. The number of retained was basically, well, a bit less, I think, compared to basically some other countries that performed slightly better in terms of the ratio between the number of those evaluated to those that were retained. But of course, you can see in any case that the number, as we see here before, that usually the stronger countries from the EIC Accelerator really is France. Spain is doing pretty well as well, Israel. But we also have some interesting countries that are there that are worth mentioning within this. As you can see, for example, with regards to the Netherlands, that they've performed quite well in this stage, as well as other countries such as Denmark, which actually performed considerably well at this point. So there's quite an interesting statistic here to see how over the different phases of the program, we see the performance vary as well between the different countries. In terms of the type of, let's say, in terms of basically the type of proposals, we see quite a lot. We see quite a lot in the health sector. I think this is an interesting statistic, but this is also due to the nature of, well, health in itself, which is very innovative and breakthrough. And so we see quite a number of proposals being submitted under health and quite a number of proposals being retained under the health, let's say, sector. So we see quite a lot in this space, and but we also see, for example, quite a lot in the field of engineering and technology as well. ICT is somewhat interestingly popular and strong. We see less when it comes to other sectors, such as, for example, education and culture. Energy, strangely enough, is not as popular, even though, of course, there is a very strategic, let's say, a strategic issue when it comes to how energy is obviously part of a very climate-aware and strategically climate-friendly European Commission when it comes to these areas. So it's quite an interesting to see which are the proposals that are really working well within this instrument compared to other sectors. So that's obviously something to take into consideration when applying to the EIC Accelerator. Some interesting statistics as well with regards to the gender. We have, well, unfortunately, and this is kind of also where we see disparity and what the European Commission is trying to do with the Accelerator, which is trying to promote more women entrepreneurs. And we see, for example, well, obviously, as you can see from the statistics, the male number of CEOs get more funding, unfortunately, with respect to, for example, female CEOs. And you can see the same statistics here with regards to the difference in terms of the proposals being submitted as well. So unfortunately, we still do not have enough women entrepreneurs that are submitting to the EIC, and this is actively being promoted and being worked upon by the Commission, where they try and set some specific targets in terms of the participation of women, at least up to a certain stage in the funding process, into the interview process. So this is being actively worked upon, and there are, of course, a number of initiatives within the European Innovation Council, such as Women Tech EU, where they're trying to promote more participation of women entrepreneurs and bringing a bit more in terms of their integration within the EIC ecosystem. Also, interestingly, here is how each of the applicants have requested funding. Now, I'm sorry if maybe you will not see clearly in terms of the slide, and I'm trying to also enlarge my screen so I see it a bit clearer. Okay, I've just improved it myself. So in terms of the grant investment, you can see, of course, there's a disparity here in how grant and investment is being requested. We can see clearly that France really focuses quite a lot on the investment component in all of their applications. The same with Israel. So it seems that these two countries have a very strong preference for the equity mechanism within the European Innovation Council. This cannot be said for the other countries that comparably have, let's say, a more equal standing with regards to this. So you can see Portugal, Poland, those are two examples where it's a very clear equitable request of funding. Hungary as well, they're quite equitable between the two. And so basically you see quite a strong focus on equity from some of these countries, but at the same time, there's still a component of grant being requested. So again, there is, of course, a focus on equity within the European Innovation Council, but we can see also from these statistics that the equity component can also vary between the different countries, and that is quite an interesting statistic to see. Also, due to the fact that maybe these countries have a very different structural in terms of financial ecosystems within their innovation ecosystems, how they're well supported compared to other countries. So we see this as well within, again, going back to the widening countries where there is a less focus, a less structured financial ecosystem for startups. Unfortunately, it does not help them in any way in this case. So this is obviously something that the European Innovation Council is trying to, in some way or form, improve upon in terms of their participation. But there are clearly some structural issues that need to be taken into account when reviewing, of course, these figures. Moving on. Here we go. I'm moving on more to the challenges. The challenges are, again, as mentioned before, they are on a specific topic of interest related to the EIC. So every year we have a change with regards to the challenges. This year we will have different challenges as well. And here we have a bit of a different reorganization in terms of the proposals being evaluated. We see Spain, Germany, and France. Well, Spain take the lead over Germany and France. And some countries have performed better in the challenges. Italy, for one, has performed better in the challenges. But of course, this can change over the year, depending, of course, on the participation. On the challenge being proposed. So of course, this can work in favor, but it can also work against you. If your country maybe has a specific core expertise or competence in those challenges. So it's an interesting statistic to take into consideration. In terms of this specifically against Spain, as you see, was obviously top of their league here when it came to the challenges in the EIC. And also Italy performed quite well. The number of retained proposals, again, as you can see, very competitive here. Germany had quite a number of proposals being retained. This was amounting to around 7. And also the other countries like France performed a bit less than they did in the EIC Open. So those are just some statistics with regards to that. And again, we see a very similar sort of indication here of how this basically this was managed between the different sectors in terms of the number of proposals evaluated. Of course, here we have a bias with regards to the challenges, even though there were quite a number of health proposals being submitted. If I correct in saying that there were a number of challenges in health and a number of challenges as well with regards to energy in the last call. So you see here quite a difference, but it's very similar in a sense that we still have quite a strong focus on some sectors over other sectors as well. So that's something, again, to take into consideration. And again, here I'm just going back on the gender, but very similar situation. We still have a gender disparity when it comes to the EIC, even when it comes to the challenge. So it's something to look at. The investment component as well, as I mentioned here before, there's quite a strong backing from France. Again, also the Netherlands and as well as Spain. So quite these countries really, they show their financial might where it comes to investments and a very strong investment ecosystem. And there are some countries that are still quite balanced towards this in terms of that. So we can see that from the investment requested. From the Italian point of view, we didn't perform as well as we should have, and this is again related to the structural, let's say, elements in the in Italy, which is very much as less structured than other countries. I'm going to stop with my slides here because I'm going to go now on to my next set of slides, which is related to access to EIC. Now, I've presented a couple of results, a bit of an overview without going into too much detail as well. And what I do want to present here now is just an overview of the tools available to applicants with regards to the EIC project, with the EIC program. And this is the Access to EIC project, which is being coordinated by our organization. In fact, with the start of this program, we are starting in line with the new Horizon Europe program. Obviously, not exactly in line, as the Horizon Europe program started last year. And basically, what does this project do? It will work over the 7 years, basically. It is a project that is focused on building capacity of NCPs. So we are an NCP organization, so the project really is about upskilling of NCPs. But at the same time, we use these the opportunity to improve the skills of NCPs that will then eventually help clients apply to the European Innovation Council. So it is a very much a domino effect that is exactly what we're trying to achieve here, which eventually will hopefully bring forwards better applicants and better applications with regards to the European Innovation Council in terms of the EIC Accelerator, but also beyond. And one important thing that I think is really important here, now I won't go through all of this, because of course the network itself is very complex, and it really goes into different aspects of the EIC. But the most important thing here is, the organization of the project is such that, of course, we provide training, but the most interesting part is the toolbox that we provide. Now, the toolbox is really helping with the EIC applicants. We've heard so much about the EIC over the past year, the AI tool system, which is the new tool which has been deployed by the Commission, and how difficult it has been to really follow with the different aspects of how to really apply to the EIC Accelerator. What we plan to do with this project and over the start of the project and initiating with this project is really about providing the tools to applicants to better improve their application to the EIC. So this is really the crux of what I'm saying in this specific part of the presentation, without going into too much detail on the other parts of the presentation, even though it is also an interesting part of the program. But really it is about, and I'll skip in fact straight to there, what we are going to do in this project is really building a guide for applicants, which is really about best practices support measures in Pathfinder, Transition, and Accelerator projects. So we're going to be producing these. We're going to be updating these over the period of 7 years. And we invite you to all access the Access to EIC website, which is already online, actually, but hopefully by this year, we will already start providing these guides and tools to applicants. I will finish my presentation here. If you need any more information, as I mentioned, about the project, this is the website to look onto, and I really thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Stephen. And I mean, we see it was a thorough presentation about the implementation phase of the EIC Accelerator and results. Now I would call here Katerina Papadouli, the Greek NCP, to give us a better overview of the Greek situation. So just a country focus. Thank you, Katerina.
Thank you, Elisabetta. Thank you, everyone. And really thank you for the opportunity to discuss here today the European Innovation Council and especially the EIC Accelerator, and of course, all the measures that countries at the European Commission, but also individual countries are taking in order to improve their performance in the tools of the European Innovation Council. So this is the actual experience that I want to bring from the side of Greece. I'm a national contact point for the European Innovation Council and the European Innovation ecosystems. My organization is called Praxi Network. We are a unit of the Foundation for Research and Technology in Greece, one of the main research organizations, and we're the main organization for the national contact points in the country, covering most of the thematic areas in Horizon Europe. So I wanted to bring forward the Greek experience, and I want to take you a bit back, going to the Horizon 2020 and the instruments that were focused on supporting innovative SMEs and funding innovative SMEs, which was particularly the SME Instrument of phase 1 and phase 2, and of course the Seal of Excellence part, which was seal of quality, if you wish, of the European Commission, given to applicants who had very good proposals in the SME Instrument, but there was not enough funding to fund them from the European the Horizon 2020 funds. So you can see here that Greece had some success in Horizon 2020 from 2014 to 2020. There was a good participation in the SME Instrument phase 1. Of course, I'm sure that you remember that funding was not very substantial. We had 50,000 euros of a lump sum funding for SME Instrument beneficiaries for phase 1. And also we had 10 Seal of Excellence holders in the SME Instrument phase 1. The situation for SME Instrument phase 2 was quite different. Of course, it was a much more competitive tool. We only had 9 SMEs that were successfully funded by the SME Instrument phase 2, but we had 49 SMEs actually getting the Seal of Excellence for the SME Instrument phase 2, which was quite important. You can see here that the most popular thematic areas for the Greek participants were energy, ICT, and food. Going forward, what was our response, if you wish, and how in our capacity we tried to support the innovation ecosystem in Greece? First of all, as a national contact point from the previous program, we participated in the 2 NCP projects, the Access for SMEs and the Access to EIC, the previous Access to EIC, 2 projects for the networking and capacity building of national contact points in order to support applicants to to apply for these instruments, for these innovation instruments. At the same time, we participated and coordinated two European projects that had their focus on SME Instrument and EIC funding tools. First of all, we coordinated We Grow project, which focused on supporting women entrepreneurs in applying for SME Instrument Phase 2. And we participated as a project partner in the European project InReady, which had the main objective to actually support and increase the capacity of applicants when they go into the interview phase, and to support them in the pitching process. So for us, through these projects, we were able to gain a lot of expertise from experienced partners around Europe, to also map and support our innovation ecosystem, the most innovative enterprises. And we were able to provide value-added services in regards to pitching and also preparing for proposals in SME Instrument and the EIC pilot. And also we contributed in this way to a better preparation for the Greek applicants for the EIC pilot and EIC. I want to show you here some national support mechanisms, which I think are important for when we're talking about supporting SMEs in the EIC Accelerator. As also Stephen said before, EIC Accelerator is the most competitive tool for of Horizon Europe, and of course is the flagship for innovation funding under Horizon Europe, getting a lot of the budget of the whole program. On the side, we think that it is very important to have national support mechanisms to support applicants. So, for example, our Ministry of Development and Investments designed 2 rounds of calls for proposals under the operational program of competitiveness, entrepreneurship, and innovation for funding of Seal of Excellence holders under Horizon 2020, both for Phase 1 and for Phase 2 SME Instrument. We had more than 40 small and medium enterprises being funded under this tool, under this funding scheme, and they were funded with more than 20 million euros of public funding, which was quite important for them. At the same time, there was the creation of Innovation Greece. Innovation Greece is an association of very deep tech innovative companies. Praxi Network, my organization, is the cluster manager, and we managed to bring these 9 companies together. They're the 9 companies that were beneficiaries of the SME Instrument Phase 2. So they were the most innovative SMEs in Greece, and they came together in an effort both to strengthen the innovation ecosystem in Greece, but also to collaborate with each other and create new products and services. At the same time, an initiative of the Greek government and the Ministry of Development and Investments was the creation of the Elevate Greece. The Elevate Greece is the national point for startup development. The main goal is the identification and support of innovative Greek startups, which we also think that it can go side to side with the support for the startups and SMEs in their preparation for EIC funding. Very, very quickly, I want to go through the performance of Greece in EIC. It's very quick because it was not very good. You can see here that, and you also saw I also saw in the statistics of Stephen shared in the previous presentation that we did have actually a lot of applications for phase one. We did have some goes, as you can see here, but unfortunately, we have no successful proposals that went through successfully the evaluation of phase two and went through the interview. So this is for us big red flag in order to try to improve it in the next period, and I'm sure that we can also work together with our counterparts in KEPA in Greece to successfully work on that. You can see the popular thematic areas here. We have ICT, health, energy, agriculture, and food and beverages, and also security. So for us, it is important to continue and strengthen the support mechanisms for SMEs in order to improve the country's performance in the EIC. As Praxi, we participate in the next network, in the next project, Access to EIC, that Stephen presented with before. So we will be one of the core partners. And also, we want to provide support to SMEs through the Enterprise Europe Network. As you know, it is the largest support mechanism for SMEs. You know that the role of the EN advisors is increased, is more significant regarding the EIC and the coaching of future applicants. There is going to be a much stronger collaboration between the Enterprise Europe Network and the EIC, with a special focus on widening countries and women entrepreneurs. So there will be support services provided in the next period, and also through the thematic group of partners within the Enterprise Europe Network, the Research and Innovation thematic group, where there is a lot of support and work done by the EN advisors in order to identify, map, contact, and coach the most innovative deep tech SMEs in Europe. At the same time, what we are doing on a national level, we are organizing an Info Day, a National Info Day, but also in collaboration with our Cypriot counterparts, the national contact points from Cyprus. On the 3rd of March, we are actually having an Info Day on the whole Pillar 3 of Horizon Europe. Of course, the focus is going to be on EIC, but we're also, we want to show the synergies between the EIC and the European Innovation Ecosystems and the European Institute of Technology and Innovation, the EIT. We are going forward with organizing trainings and webinars on proposal writing for EIC Accelerator, but also for the other EIC tools, Transition and Pathfinder. Also, we are trying to have a much better communication with our national representatives in the General Secretariat for Research and Innovation, and also innovation agencies around the country. And at this point, we are discussing with our General Secretariat and the Ministry of Development and Investments a new round of funding for Seal of Excellence under Horizon Europe, and a national scheme for support in proposal preparation for the submission of proposals in the EIC Accelerator. So hopefully we will have some news regarding these two issues. And hopefully we will go forward, and the ministry will go forward with that. And of course, our goal is to provide integrated support also from our side as an NCP, and also as a coordinator of the Enterprise Europe Network, but also in collaboration with our national stakeholders and our government, in order to provide integrated support during all phases before and after applying in EIC Accelerator. So let's keep in touch. I want to thank you again for inviting me here today, and I want to say congratulations for your project. And let's keep in touch in order to support our applicants and improve the participation in the EIC Accelerator, which will support the innovation in the whole of Europe. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Caterina. As you heard, this instrument is complex, and success rates are not encouraging so far. That's why when we first drafted this, the project proposal for the InnoSap Horizon 2020 call, we wanted to imagine ways to actually be next innovation agencies, but also contribute to all the efforts of our national contact points in being close to SMEs and also understanding their needs. And to this purpose, I would like to call my Greek colleague from KEPA, Dimitra Kyriakopoulou. Sorry.
No problem.
Just to give you an overview of the design option paper that we came out with and the results of the work we have done during the last year. Thank you, Dimitra.
Thank you so much, Elisabetta. I take also the chance to thank all partners for this collaboration. I'm here on behalf of KEPA, the Business and Cultural Development Center, which is established in northern Greece, in Thessaloniki. So what we did in the context of Innocoach was actually to deliver this, the final deliverable, actually, it was the design options paper. It is a result of a peer review process conducted by the three participating partners, three innovation agencies, IMIB, KEPA, and Commonext. And it is actually a practical handbook that provides a tested methodological framework on how to better coach SMEs when they apply to the EIC instrument. So our design options paper was structured in 8 chapters. It's the literature review, the research analysis, needs identified and priorities that were set, a register of good practices. Of course, the main core is the methodology developed to encourage SMEs in order they apply for the EIC instrument, a pilot action, and of course, sources, some really useful links and annexes where we have inserted all tools developed by the consortium. To have a better overview, I'm going to say some brief words on each chapter so that we can understand what is this paper about. In the literature review, we tried to give better information on the EIC Accelerator, which actually supports the individual SMEs, in particular startups and spin-out companies, to develop and scale up game-changing innovations. In some cases, small mid-caps up to 500 employees are also supported. The literature review was conducted to analyze the state of the art for the SMEs and for the innovation agencies as well in all three partner countries. How did we do that? By analyzing current needs of SMEs and innovation agencies to be more active in the EIC Accelerator program, by studying different documents on lessons learned from previous experience, and also by identifying good practices in all three partner countries. Of course, the research target group was were the SMEs themselves. In particular, we searched for SMEs that received funding and SMEs that are the holders of Seal of Excellence, and of course, the innovation agencies. During the second chapter in the research analysis, we developed actually a structured questionnaire for SMEs and another one for innovation agencies. And apart from questionnaires, we also conducted one-to-one interviews. So we were able to collect 51 viewpoints out of questionnaires 28 were from SMEs and 23 from innovation agencies, and 19 interviews, one-to-one interviews, which were from 14 SMEs and 5 innovation agencies. Unfortunately, most of the interviews were conducted online due to pandemic. What were the needs identified, and what priority did we set as a consortium? We realized that SMEs need more EIC application details on how to apply, how to reach some level in order to be better when applying for the instrument. And of course, there was identified need for business plan modeling and presentation skills. Also on project writing and management capacity, and also how to find other grants and what are the other grant experiences. The priorities set by the consortium were actually on how to prepare a good business plan and how to better present it, and how to understand what actually the EIC Accelerator needs. What are the standards to be reached? So one of our chapter which gave us insight was also good practices identified out of the 3 countries. The identification of good practices helped us innovation agencies to understand in practice what kind of support is needed by the SMEs themselves, and how SMEs see their position in the EIC instrument. So we registered 5 good practices as examples of SMEs having successfully applied for EIC and having received funding. From Turkey, we registered Surgitate Medical, a research project which has to do with breast modeling and self-awareness model. Actually, a poster of with a tactile breast model that contains lumps which shouldn't be there. Biocapsol, also from Turkey, is a Lycosol project, is a good practice that has to do with extracts of natural ingredients from waste products of food processing by using biological, sustainable, and environmentally friendly a novel process to use the synthetic food coloring, actually. The Greek good practices from Bright Solar Technologies, who invented a solar glass that makes greenhouses energy independent with a negative environmental footprint in production. And actually, the Bright Solar company is the only Greek company selected by the European Innovation Council to receive funding under the EU Green Deal following an extremely competitive process. 3B is the first Italian good practice with Hive Tech project. It's an agri-tech startup that develops intelligent monitoring and diagnostic systems for bee health. And 3B actually realized an IoT data-driven decision support system based on artificial intelligence algorithm for optimized beekeeping management. And the 5th good practice registered in our DOP, Design Options paper, is Coelux, a high-tech company which was established in 2009 and is headquartered within Commonext Technology Park. Their mission is to foster an innovative solution for lighting, architecture, and real estate industries, aiming at creating the perception of an extraordinary white space by means of a genuine reproduction of optical atmospheric phenomena indoors. So definitely you can learn more on our good practices when we have the possibility to read our design options paper. The main core of this paper is actually the methodology. So we, as a consortium, we decided to structure the methodological framework in 4 basic steps. These are attract, inform, train, and coach SMEs. The methodological framework is more addressed to the innovation agencies rather than the SMEs, so that they can get prepared and have in mind a really structured methodology when they wish to help SMEs in the application process. So in the attract step, we, Innocoach partners, we decided to formulate tools for the attraction of SMEs. So the first tool was to create short videos about EIC. And also we thought that a methodological framework would definitely include workshop events or common platforms with consolidated but local info about the EIC program. Also an initial self-assessment tool, a questionnaire to filter out companies was really much needed. On the information step, we included in our methodology tips, evaluation criteria, targeted information and workshops by innovation agencies that should be implemented. Also a list of contacts of professionals and consultants that can help draft an application. A persona profile, a tool actually that gives a medium profile of a medium SME that could reach SME, the EIC instrument, and deeply analyzes the company's projects to understand if they fit into this program or not. The third step is training, and we thought that a clear methodology should pay effort on and also give support on business plan drafting with specific examples of success stories of the past, on innovation assessment for the project proposal, also discussions or comments on common mistakes and good practices that are highlighted in the past experience. Training should also include teaching SMEs how to navigate the information on the EU Commission portals and websites. And of course, it's important that training sessions also stick to the application template for training so that the SMEs get a clear view of how the application form is really structured, what is needed, what language is used, and what are the different sections. Training should motivate applicants with success stories, and also common content from training materials is really much needed. So creating training modules that are joined for innovation agencies is really a good suggestion of our methodological guide. Of course, a common list of knowledge sources for business planning and market research is a really nice tool for SMEs and innovation agencies to better get prepared for training. In the coaching step, our methodology includes a matrix to guide companies towards the right financing options, and one-to-one mentoring sessions, especially for market research, network coaching, actually searching for brokerage activities, creating a profile, follow-up, etc. Collaboration between innovation agencies and national contact points is really of high importance. And of course, help on how to create a video storyboard for the pitch is a really needed tool for the SMEs to get prepared. It is important also to invite companies for a periodical assessment and to commit one dedicated representative within the agency to follow through along with the company throughout the whole process, from the beginning to the end. So what we did after we structured this methodological framework, we thought that we could, in the context of a Horizon InnoSub project, we could develop some specific tools so that we could also test our methodology. So we, you can see in red highlighted text what tools we developed, and we are going to have the chance to be followed throughout the tools when the next speaker is on. We developed these tools, and we decided to pilot test them in a pilot workshop that was organized in November 2021. This workshop gave the partners a chance to improve their capacity on coaching for the EIC Accelerator program, but also gave the opportunity to the SMEs to get a clear and structured view on the methodological step and also on the instrument itself. So we tested 1 to 2 services from each methodological step. And along with having received the feedback, we also included, of course, sources and some really useful links in our design option paper. So SMEs and innovation agencies have all them collected on a spot. guide for applicants is really important, as long as the diagnostic tool that is online to be visited in the Accelerator platform. And of course, other tools that you can have access in our DOP. The last chapter of the design options paper is actually the annexes, where all the tools that we as a consortium developed, you will have the chance to learn on them by the next speaker, which is Elisabetta Giromini from Commonex. I really like to thank you on my part and wish that our design options paper is really a practical handbook for other innovation agencies as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dimitra. Thank you, really. Now I will go on quickly presenting the tools that we developed. Actually, since we work closely with companies, very often supporting them for their financial needs, we realize that it's really rare that a company is, let's say, adapt or right for the EIC Accelerator. So this is not an instrument for everybody. And the more research we were doing and the more experiences we were sharing, the more we were realizing this. So this instrument that I will show you now on my slides are really done for that, on that purpose. So I just share my slides now. Okay, I thought they were already on. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Actually, we thought that innovation agencies and also SMEs, of course, should be well aware of this initial self-assessment that is also on the artificial intelligence platform. And that's why we really created this tool that it's a questionnaire to guide companies through. And of course, companies sometimes really need to reflect on those questions, and before starting to apply, talk to someone that is able to support them and to understand if EIC Accelerator is the right instrument for them. So this filtering work should be done, in our opinion, can be done, in our opinion, by innovation agencies. And that's a second tool that we developed, that is an identikit. So we try to understand, based on the previous results and of the EIC pilot that were in the last 2 years of Horizon 2020, what kind of companies were granted. And actually, we understood that those companies are mainly startups, but startups that are not at an early stage, but that are trying to scale up, that have a very that have patented technologies, certifications, registered trademark, copyrights, that have very good marketing strategies, and whose financial need is over 1 million. Usually the teams are of about 3 to 5 people, so they can be also very small companies, but they have to have in their mission this, let's say, revolutionary view. And of course, the sectors are those that were already presented also by our national contact points. But here, first of all, as a useful tool, we created or we wanted to propose this fundability matrix. So really to help companies place themselves and understanding the language of the EIC accelerator. They need to place themselves in terms of TRL, technology readiness level, but also financial need. And innovation agencies could help companies build their own fundability matrix and understand what kind of investments place in comparison to funds available also at local, regional, national level. And European level is probably the last stage and the most ambitious one, but you need how to say, a story that brings you towards that the European instruments. At least this is our experience. And of course, we proposed a series of training modules, as Dimitra was saying, and a lot of market research tools. I mean, we often meet companies that are not well aware on how to make a market research, how to build a business plan. So these are could be really training modules to be developed. They can also be targeted for the EIC Accelerator program, of course. And then also, as Dimitra was saying, the application form. We have to really stick to all the application process and understand how to draft a competitive proposal, but also how to create a video. So creating a video is not something that companies are used to do. So we could really be of help in that sense. And create easy tools. Of course, websites are not enough. Probably webinars are not enough, but we could, of course, share networking options and organize meetings with companies that we know, like the ones that are at CommonX premises or the ones known by IMIB or KEPA, in order to create awareness, but also confidence in the possibilities of this instrument. And of course, pitching, as it was mentioned many times also by the Greek NCP. That's all from my part. And I would just leave the floor to questions. So I see some questions, and I ask all the speakers to join me. This is the last 5-7 minutes of this webinar, and we have a question about. Can you mute your microphones, Banu, please? Probably this is either for us, but I would like to our national contact points to address this. So in case a project won't be founded, will in the EIC Accelerator, will the SME receive an evaluation grid in order to understand how to improve the proposal? So you can, who wants to answer this question? Steven, Katerina, or Marve?
I'm assuming evaluation grid, meaning an evaluation report. Is that the question?
Yeah, probably. Yes, the wording is.
Yeah. So basically, at each stage of at both the short stage and the full stage, they get basically an evaluation. Yeah, and basically that would be used to either improve upon their proposal at the full stage, or if they have to resubmit, they can use those evaluation comments then to resubmit. So yes, they get feedback at each stage of the process.
as far as we know, is not very personal. It's there are some standard comments, so you shouldn't expect a personalized evaluation. Is general. It's let's say an evaluation report with some general information, standard information. So correct me if I'm wrong.
That has changed. No. Now it has become more detailed. Now we have for each application you get 3 evaluators or 4 evaluators depending on which stage you're at, and they give you specific feedback on your application. It's changed. It's changed.
Yeah, that's very good. That's very useful, actually. And then can natural persons who are about to open a startup participate? Natural persons. It's actually
yes.
possible.
Yes.
This change, yes.
No. Yeah. Who wants to answer this? Sorry, I lost you for a second. Merve?
Yes, natural persons who are entrepreneurs can apply for this EIC Accelerator program. When they successfully passed all the evaluation process, they should establish their startup in the phase of signing a grant agreement.
Okay, thank you. And for the process of the drafting of the project, can national contact points give their support?
Yes, it's in our role to coach future applicants in the process of preparing and submitting a proposal. We do pre-proposal, we do pre-screenings, so there is one-on-one coaching for the applicants, yes.
Okay, thank you. So usually, at least, just bring our experience to conclude. We work with our national contact point, with Stephen and with his colleagues. So whenever we have a company willing to draft a proposal or in the process of drafting a proposal that asks for our help, we always ask our national contact point to let's say, give us an assessment on the proposal drafting. So I think this is a very good cooperation that we have installed. And I really thank our national contact point and all of you, the Greek, Katerina, Marve, and also my colleagues. I don't know if you want to say few words, Dimitra and Banu, before saying goodbye.
Well, I would really like to thank you all for this collaboration. Since this is the final event, this means that we conclude the project and the cooperation with you. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much also for the national contact points who were with us today. It's important to have SMEs and contact points in connection with us, innovation agencies, as the moderator of this connection. Thank you so much for everything.
The microphone, Banu?
Is it on? Is it on? No?
Yes, it was on. Okay.
Can you hear me right now?
Yes,
okay.
Please.
I just want to thank the guests who are still with us. I would like to thank national contact points from Turkey, Greece, and Italy. And also I would like to thank you, Dimitra and Elisabetta, and your organizations, of course, Comonet and KEPA. I hope to see and meet with other innovation agencies together in future for future projects for SMEs, let's say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And have a nice weekend. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.